President Muhammadu Buhari expresses Nigeria's readiness to imbibe the principles of sustainable development goals to revitalize the nation's economy. Federal government establishes the inter-task force to improve the welfare of internally displaced persons. And United Kingdom commends Nigerian armed forces for their gallantry decimating Boko Haram insurgents. Hello there and a warm welcome to NTA International News on this hour with me, Justin Bemunyi, and is glad to have you join us. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed Nigeria's solid commitment towards embedding the principles of sustainable development goals as a bedrock of the change agenda that will revitalize the nation's economy, improve security, and tackle corruption. The president stated these at a side event on taking climate action for sustainable development as part of the 71st session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The event, co-hosted by Nigeria and the United Nations Environment Programme UNEP, was aimed at analyzing the country's vision and strategies towards achieving sustainable development through nationally determined contributions that strive to build a climate-resilient society. President Muhammadu Buhari acknowledged that the implementation of the roadmap will not be easy, but said resources are being mobilized within and outside the country to help Nigeria meet the set targets.
Our 2017 budget will reflect our efforts to prioritize and redirect domestic resources towards achieving our nationally determined contributions. In addition, we are set to launch our first ever green bonds in the first quarter of 2017 to fund a pipeline of projects all targeted at reducing emissions towards a greener economy. We ask that you support our efforts to transit to a low-carbon, climate-resilient economy.
While expectations are high that industrialized nations deliver $100 billion by the year 2020 in support of developing countries to take climate action, the president makes a case for special recognition to the plight of Lake Chad and support efforts at resuscitating the livelihoods of people in the region.
This will reinforce our effort to reintegrate the thousands of Boko Haram victims and returning internally displaced persons. In addition, support to the Great Green Wall Initiative for Sahara and Sahel will accelerate economic development and reclaim the deserts through aggressive restoration of the shelter belt. Introducing economic trees in the context of the diversification of our economy through a responsive value chain will ensure jobs for the youth.
President Buhari called for partnership in his administration's efforts to clean up Ogoni land and improve livelihoods, a task some participants described as well thought out and highly commendable.
It is turning a challenge into an opportunity. And let me tell you, if Nigeria is able to do this, this will be the largest ever cleaning effort in the world. And it will be the largest university and the most efficient university on cleaning a polluted area.
Addressing the issues of the drying of the Lake Chad is one key area that the international community should support so that we will be able to address the insecurity challenges, the poverty, and the misery of our people.
The competing demands in many of our countries are many. The resources are just not there, but they are there in the global community. There are trillions of dollars that are available. How do we unlock them? And how do we unlock them that they come in a timely manner to countries that need them now and not tomorrow?
The consensus here is that sustainable development can be achieved without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. In New York, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the president has challenged outstanding Nigerian diaspora professionals to give quality contributions that will fast-track development back home as they have done in their countries of stay. The president said this in a closed-door meeting with some distinguished Nigerian professionals in New York. Gabriel Odu reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari told the 15 Nigerian diaspora professionals that the government is committed to tackling corruption, rejuvenate the economy, and secure lives and property. He therefore urged them to come home and invest their skills and resources.
We need quality people to come along so that we can move fast.
Among the Nigerian diaspora professionals were aviation experts, development economists, health professionals, public servants, and Ivy League students.
I'm very passionate to take this thing to Nigeria. I've been asking to get a chance to go back and do what I'm doing to this country in Nigeria. But today I met him and I put my case, and I think he said he will be thinking about it.
I commended him for being one of the presidents in the Nigerian history who started going with the fundamentals of the economy, because I know we cannot develop if we don't go through the fundamentals.
Not seeing problems, they are seeing opportunities, and they want to grab those opportunities for the good of Nigeria.
I would love to come back home and go back to my village in Oka and give back, build boreholes, build schools, because education is really the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world.
The senior special advisor to the president on foreign affairs and diaspora, Abike Dabri Erewa, facilitated the meeting.
In a determined bid to more effectively confront the humanitarian challenges in the Northeast, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved a change in the management of the situation, putting cabinet ministers in direct charge of sectoral coordination. Before now, sectoral coordination of the humanitarian situation was managed by director cadre ministry officials. But in a decision to upgrade and elevate the governance structure, the President has approved a modification of the structure by putting cabinet ministers in charge of governmental response to the humanitarian emergency caused by the insurgency in the northeast part of the country. To this end, President Buhari has established an interministerial task force to coordinate the response and work with humanitarian agencies to support the governments and other structures in the affected states. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant, Media and Publicity to the Vice President, Laolu Akande says, with the multi-sectoral task force, each sector will now be led by a minister, while the entire task force is led by the Ministry of Budget and National Planning. They will now coordinate and mobilize the domestic, governmental and private sector resources necessary to effectively meet this challenge with the urgency it demands. Defeating Boko Haram and countering violent extremism has been one of the main priorities of the Buhari administration, and to date, the military has given assurance to the UN and all other partners, local and international, of its readiness to effectively lead a humanitarian response, deploy adequate resources, and do everything possible to mobilize a rapid response in order to save lives and restore normalcy to the affected areas. The United Kingdom has expressed satisfaction with the successes recorded so far by the armed forces of Nigeria in the tackling of Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast and promised to collaborate with Nigeria to further success. The United Kingdom Assistant Chief of Defense Staff, Rear Admiral Simon James Ancona, stated this when he led a delegation of the UK Ministry of Defense and Engagement on a courtesy visit to the Nigeria Chief of Defense Staff, Gabriel Olonishakin. Rear Admiral Anoka reiterated that the way the Nigerian military subdued the Boko Haram terrorists has further put the Nigerian armed forces in particular and the nation in general on a positive radar of Global Assessment Index. He commended the military and allied security agencies for their doggedness and sacrifice that have led to the decimation of that murderous terrorist group and called for sustenance of the onslaught to wipe insurgency from our land. The senior military officer pledged that the UK Armed Forces would continue to work closely with their counterpart in Nigeria towards strengthening the capacity of the Nigerian military to be more potent and responsive in the discharge of their constitutional mandate. In his response, General Olonishakin commended the UK government for all its assistance to the Nigerian armed forces in their fight against terrorism. He, however, solicited for stronger tie in intelligence sharing, military hardware, manpower capacity building, and training in improvised explosive devices and deep penetration detection devices. Moving on now, the wife of the president, Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has reaffirmed her determination to galvanize support towards the improvement of lives of women and children in Nigeria. Mrs. Buhari stated this in New York while marking the 1 year of Future Assured program. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports.
This is exactly 1 year when the Future Assured program was officially unveiled at the same venue here in New York, the site event of the United Nations General Assembly, with the aim of improving the health of women, children, and other vulnerable members of the society, especially in the areas of reproductive, maternal, newborn, and adolescent health, as well as the nutrition matters as captured in the 5 key areas of concern of the initiative. The essence of this gathering was to review the achievements so far and to strategize for the future. The wife of the president explained in clear terms the successes recorded within the 1 year of the program, which include touching lives of women and children in all the geopolitical zones of Nigeria through the provision of free medical services for different kinds of health challenges, as well as empowering women, especially the victims of insurgency, and the provision of support to the malnourished children in Nigeria.
As we share with you the scorecard and milestone realized within the past 1 year, it is worthy of note that more needs to be done. It is painful for me as a member of the country to know that 576 women die of pregnancy-related cases out of every 100,000 deliveries.
The huge responsibilities necessitated the need for the strong collaboration with the NGOs and other development partners comprising the UNDP, UNFPA, the UNICEF, as well as the private and other public organizations.
And it's our hope that this event would actually do far more than it did last year. I would like to reiterate our full support to Nigeria in its endeavors to tackle the multifaceted challenges it faces.
So we're really delighted to have the First Ladies of Nigeria at the forefront.
The event, which was attended by the First Ladies of Niger, Mali, and Chad, and the wife of the Senate President, Toyin Saraki, as well as the wives of the governors, provided a platform to interact with a view to putting more effort towards improving the lives of women and children in Nigeria.
On our own part as governors' wives, we can get the initiatives through to the grassroots in a way that will give us the desired results.
In New York City, Aliu Kabir, NTA.
Director General Nigerian Television Authority NTA Yakubu Ibn Muhammad has promised to partner the Global Exhibition and Business Services to organize an ECOWAS agriculture, agro-allied and technology exhibition in the country. He said this when the team paid him a visit. Joseph Johnson reports.
Describing efforts of the team as being in line with the diversification policy of President Muhammadu Buhari for job creation, the DG commended and assured them of the authorities' support.
This is the first major private sector initiative aimed at giving Mr. President and his team the needed boost and the needed support. And for this, I think NTA will be more than willing to partner the Global Exhibition Project.
Chairman Global Exhibition and Business Services based in Kaduna, Alhaji Bawa Garba, said The event has as its theme agricultural production and processing for self-sufficiency, poverty eradication, and economic development.
The aim and the objective of what we are all doing is for Nigeria to be self-sufficient in rice growing.
The proposed event would engage policymakers, farmers, the academia, and other interested groups in Nigeria's agricultural sector. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
As the 2016 Beijing TV drama and movie season begins, a variety of movies and TV drama series from China will be broadcast in Nigeria to promote cultural exchange between Nigeria and China. Abdulmalik Adio reports that this year's event is hosted by the Beijing Municipal Bureau of Press, Publication and Radio in collaboration with Star Times and the Nigerian Television Authority.
After a successful launch of the Beijing TV dramas and movie broadcasting season in Kenya, South Africa, Tanzania, and Uganda through its TV series and content, 10 TV drama series and movies will be aired in Nigeria to showcase the lives of the ordinary people in modern Beijing, enabling audience in Africa to gain a further understanding of the lives of the common Chinese people.
Using the CCTV to develop the new methods to bring Hollywood-based products, the best produced quality content into China.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority was represented by the Executive Director of Programs, Eugenia Abu, who says Chinese TV dramas and films have become an important way to spread Chinese culture in Nigeria.
And more than anything else, the media, culture, storytelling and the creative industry are really the platforms for pushing friendships across diplomatic lines. So it's a challenge really to TV producers to be more creative and filmmakers to write good scripts about Nigeria that shows our uniqueness, our hospitality, our sharing, our community, and the way we really value our culture. I think basically if we have compelling content, everybody will want to have a piece of Nigeria on their television stations.
What we are saying is that just as they also come, we also would want them to screen our own movies in their own country.
And we have organically developed our Nollywood industry. So this was a very good opportunity for transfer of technology. But most importantly, the impact that it will have on our economy is job creation.
With movies like Manzu and Beijing Love Story among others, Beijing leads China in the production of TV dramas and movies, producing over 3,000 TV episodes and 300 movies annually. In Abuja, Abdulmalik Adio, NTA News.
If you're just joining us, you're watching the news on NTA International. Please stay tuned for more news after the break.
Stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. So let the change begin from within. Look at you, Ogeruola. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
And thanks for being there. Now, Mopla Dakok is standing by with reports from the financial sector.
Thanks for joining us on Business News. We begin with tax matters. The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, has hunted down at least 70,000 companies that have never paid taxes in a bid to seek new revenue sources to offset the prices that have pushed Nigeria into recession for the first time in 20 years. Chairman of the FIRS, Tunde Fowler, who made this known, said that he expects 10 million more individuals to be discovered by December and made to pay taxes for the first time. In South Africa, the proposed 20% tax on sugar-sweetened beverages, as research by Oxford Economics revealed, is likely to generate only 4.4 billion rand and not the estimated 7.5 billion rand. The research also indicates that the soft drink contribution to the country's GDP could reduce by 14.6 billion rand and could lead to about 70,700 job losses in the industry. And in Ghana, the World Bank, in an agreement with Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, is set to provide $500 million to Ghana in the form of a partial risk guarantee if Ghana defaults on payments on gas from the Sankofa field. The Nigerian Stock Exchange closed Friday on a positive note. Here's a quick look at closing figures. With the stock market, we wrap up the segment. I am Muplang Dakop.
And let's now join Obiageli Ogoke for reports from other parts of the globe.
The United Nations is directing blame towards government leaders in the Democratic Republic of Congo for political tensions, which led to riots and deaths in the capital, Kinshasa. The violence, which escalated following allegations that President Joseph Kabila is planning to remain in office, has purportedly claimed more than 100 lives, while the police pulled the death toll at 32. In a latest development, hundreds of protesters defied curfew as demonstrations continue for a third night Friday in Charlotte. The recent unrest was sparked by the fatal shooting of Kate Scott, a 43-year-old African-American who was killed on Tuesday